if you're ready to work on bringing your animated sort of files into Photoshop to kind of make them into the actual moving image, then this is the steps that you're going to want to kind of go ahead and follow for that. So you'll want to like capture your images, whether they're stop motion images or hand drawn files or any of that kind of stuff. If you're doing this stuff in animated kind of like sequence by hand, like in a different program or something, you're going to want to export out each step of that animation as its own image. Or if you're doing stop motion, you could use your phone and just capture each image like a photograph, and then you're going to want to bring those into a folder someplace. You got to stash those somewhere where you can find them. Try to have them numbered in order, like that really helps a lot if you have 1 through 27 or however many you have, so that you kind of know which one's which. And then once you get all that organized and once you get all that set, you can come into Photoshop and open up your new file. And then there's some steps you're going to want to go through, so you want to pay close attention to this. We're going to do some fancy stuff in here, which is to go to File, and then you're going to want to go up here to this one that's called Scripts. So this is just kind of like a background kind of fast processing thing that Photoshop has built into it. So you want to grab Scripts and you want to go to Load Files into Stack. That's going to bring all of your different files that you tell it to into Photoshop and put them in your layers as all separate layers. So you want to go ahead and click the Browse button now and go find those wherever they are. Like, if your stuff is on your thumb drive, hopefully you're clicking through that. You're going here, doing that, and then you can go to this one, and then you just want to click, and then you want to shift click all of the photos that you want to bring in. So shift click them all and then click open, and you'll see that it's kind of got them all stacked here, and it says, okay, I'm gonna bring each one of these images in, and I'm gonna make it a new layer over here. So and you can do things like automatically attempt to align source images or create a smart object. I wouldn't mess with any of that right now. I just leave it all kind of open or alone and not mess with it too much. Just click OK. And it's going to kind of process for a minute, depending again how fast or slow your computer is. But it just brought in each step of my stop motion photo as a different layer, so you can kind of see that like each step that I took a different photo of, like it's kind of all there, right? So now you've got all of it there in your layers. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and create a frame animation out of this. So your timeline, again, if you don't have a timeline, like if you can't find it, if yours just looks like this, you always go up here to Window, go up to Window, and then go to Timeline and push that button. And then sometimes yours will look maybe like this, or you have Create Video Timeline or Create Frame Animation. So the easiest way to do this, I found, is just go to Create Frame Animation. I'm going to click there. And then before you do anything else, you want to go ahead and go to, well, let's see, we can't really set that yet, so let's just leave that alone. But we're going to want to make sure our frame rate's not set at like 30 frames a second. So once you get that done, just go ahead and click Frame Animation, right? And now it's going to do something that doesn't look like much right now. It's just going to give you one of these images over here. But now we can go in and we should be able to go in here and do this one that says create new layer. Make frames from layers. My bad there. So we want to go in here and make frames from layers. So what that's going to do is it's going to make all of those layers into just frames down there in that animation timeline. So if you click that button right there, there you go. And so now you can see they're kind of in a row down here. And if I push the button, it's kind of like following the naming conventions that I have it over here, and it's just putting it all in there. So you can rearrange, like if you want to make this one happen there, you can click through them one at a time and sort of tweak things and see if it's actually looking right or not. You saw that little jitter there, right, where I had that one that I messed up. So I'd want to go back now and see, what did I do? Okay, I think I got those out of order, so you can just kind of make them all look right. And so now I've got like a basic frame animation going on here. I can, sometimes you can go in here and do different things like reverse your frames or optimize it. Lots of different things that you can kind of try and do. And then down here you've got your, you've got like how long you're going to have each frame be visible. So, if I shift click all of them and I click here and I go like, you know, half a second. Now when I play this, it's going to be real slow, like very kind of herky jerky, right? So that could be something you might want to play around with. Usually, you know, just no delay is the best thing, and it just kind of cycles through. And then you have options down here for like how many times would you like it to loop, so you can mess around with that if you want to. If you wanted to say like add a new frame, you could just click this button right here, and it's just gonna like kind of copy the old frame and it's gonna double it up, right? So again, if I click back through this now, I've got 2 of those, so my, you know, it's gonna stay there a little longer if that was something that you might want to do. So all kinds of things that you can play with. But the thing to know is that, okay, when I'm here at step 16, what I'm seeing is what's open on the eyeball over here. So you'll see, you know, every time you stop, okay, this one, the computer is like basically just made invisible all the rest of these. And so, you know, for number 1, it's just this one right down here, this frame down here. And so, so if I wanted to make any adjustments now, I could go here, I could go here, and then I could like, you know, let's see, I want to make a selection where I, you know, delete something out of here. Well, I could do that, and then hit the delete button. I'll get rid of it, and now you'll see that just that one thing will be deleted out of the background, right? But it's because I have frame 1 selected, and whatever I'm doing to that layer is what's going to happen. So the second one, I could click here. I'd want to make sure I have this selected and the correct layer that's actually visible. I could do the same thing where I could like make a selection and delete it, or add or subtract something, right? So I can do all of that stuff, and it would, you know, it'll be quite, you know, it's just pretty straightforward now. It just kind of flows through, and you can loop it as many times as you want to kind of get a sense for what's happening. But you'll notice that like I went ahead and shot all my thing outside against this complicated background. This would be kind of a pain if all I really wanted to do was isolate this hand, right? So it might be better to shoot this against like a blank background, like a white wall or something like that, instead of against this really complicated background. So it's a good thing to kind of keep in mind. Then the last thing that you might want to do would be to add like some sort of like, if you wanted to alter these a little bit more, like let's say you wanted to make it look like you had like, you know, a sort of shot of lightning coming out of your finger or something like that, you know, like again, I can go to this one, I can select the make sure that I have this layer selected. I could go over here to my brush, and then I could like you know, sort of add like a bunch of marks that look kind of like this. If I wanted to, I could go back a step, and you know, but again, I got to make sure I'm selected on the right layer, and I could kind of do some beginning levels of that whole thing. So then I can go forward a couple steps to this one. There you go. And then I can, you know, make sure I have this layer selected, and I can move forward another step. So now if I play this, there you go. So I can kind of add drawing on top of the video that I've gotten there. So, or I'm sorry, the static images that I've turned into a video now. So this is kind of the basics of how to like get it all kind of animated. You can mess around with this as much or as little as you want to, obviously, but you can see I can bring in stop motion imagery now, and photographic imagery to play around with.